Good evening. I'd like to call to order the November 13th, 2019 school committee meeting at 6:30. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to enter into executive session with regards to employee groups and employee individuals and the strategies to be followed and/or continued ongoing litigation. The school committee will reconvene in open session following executive session. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. This requires a roll call vote. Mr. Stadman, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Cutlass?
Aye.
Mrs. Demos?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. The school committee will reconvene at 7 o'clock. Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the November 13th, 2019 school committee meeting at 7:03 p.m. The November 13th school committee meeting will be televised and recorded. Under the open meeting law, the public is permitted to make an audio or video recording of an open session at a public meeting. At this time, I would ask if anyone is recording tonight's meeting to please identify himself or herself. Excellent. I'd like to ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, hopefully led by our 5th and 6th grade STEM students.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice to see everyone this evening. I'd like to ask Mr. Malone to please start our recognition portion of the meeting tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, as you can tell, it's Ryan Elementary School night here tonight. So we have some very exciting students and their parents here from the Ryan Elementary School to talk a little bit about the Mass STEM Challenge Showcase. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Regan for a few more details.
Thank you, Superintendent Malone. Members of the school committee, as you may remember, the third week in October is now deemed as the Massachusetts STEM Week, where Massachusetts schools highlight what they are doing to promote STEM learning and engagement. In late August, we received an email from the Massachusetts Environmental Protection Agency as well as the Mass STEM Hub challenging districts to participate in the first Mass STEM Week Real World Design Challenge. Of course, I shot that email immediately out to our STEM director, Mr. Jason Stamp, and all of our STEM teachers. Some of them we hadn't even had on board yet, our new STEM teachers. As you can imagine, 2 of our STEM teachers raised their hand immediately and said, we want our kids involved in this. The challenge is that students develop solutions to real-world challenges focused on zero waste. In the grade level of the students you're going to hear from tonight, their challenge was to understand the impact of microplastics on our environment, on animals, and on our bodies, and create processes to decrease the spread. Our teachers, as part of the challenge, had to participate in at least 3 trainings in September. So as we hit the ground running with school starting, they participated in the training. They had to carve out hours of instructional time around the challenge, and then guarantee their team's participation in the end of the week showcase to connect with industry professionals in the Commonwealth. So I want to invite up Ms. Kim Hilson and Ms. Eileen Lindsay, along with their principal, Ms. Judy McGinnis, and the team, so that they can showcase the project that they, you may have noticed, made the front page of the Town Crier because they went to the challenge and actually came in 3rd place. So it's very exciting for us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. This is the part of the program where they're going to introduce to you in a short video what the kids were working on. So I don't dare do this. I dare not.
Okay, Ms. Lindsay, can you grab that microphone too so they can pick you up on the broadcast? Thank you.
Sure can, sure. So we put together a little video the kids saw it this morning from their projects, pictures, snapshots from their PowerPoint presentation. So it's just a short little video to give you an overview of our process here. Not sure if the sound is on the camera or not, but the kids, first they extracted microplastics from everyday cosmetics out of Irish Spring body wash. So
And then they went through the design process where they sketched their ideas, and then they did a decision-making matrix, and they chose with that what one they were going to focus on. And then they created the extractinator from the plastics that were donated, and they had motors on them as well, which was really cool.
and it was hard. So we narrowed it down to 8 teams, and four of those teams were able to come to Boston to the showcase. And this is just an example at the showcase of the judges. There were judges from engineering companies, robotic companies, health companies, and one of our teams, the prototype hedgehog, which you'll see today, placed 3rd in the 6th through 8 grade levels.
What I found very impressive with them was the fact that when they were building their prototype and they were making changes, they were okay with failing and going back to the drawing board and trying again and adding things, which was great. It was really like showing their growth mindset and seeing how they could take a design, change it because it sank, and they were excited about it. They were okay if it failed, and it was awesome. So that was really fun.
Yeah, and the feedback from the industry experts too was great. You know, they had said, how did you make your battery waterproof? And one man that worked in the health fields was saying that they try to make their products so that blood doesn't seep into any of their devices. And so they had really good discussions, and the kids did so well. They presented many times, probably at least 5 times for each group with all different judges that came up to them. So it was such a great experience.
We'll bring the kids up.
Yeah.
So come on up, everybody. Come, all our participants here. So they have their tri-boards that were on display at the showcase, and they also have their prototypes, which it was made from recycled plastic. They had a little bit of duct tape and some motors.
A little bit of duct tape.
Come on up, guys.
They're gonna talk first.
So we can go by group, and they can give you a little bit of update or show you their prototypes.
Great.
So let's start right here. You guys want to take the mic? You can tell a little bit about your prototypes.
Okay, our prototype was made from 1 water bottle, 1 low-fat sour cream bottle, and 2 little water bottles, and we used a counterclockwise fan to drive the microplastics into our design. And then we had a little filter at the bottom, and we had netting and cheesecloth in the middle to stop most of the microplastics. And then we had wire at the bottom to stop most of the microplastics.
And then,
Just to show them how the motor works.
and then for our design, we mostly did showed how we made it and how it would work and how it would filter the microplastics, and then how we all work together and how we all kind of liked how we work together.
We did the slideshow and we checked it over a lot, and we thought that we did the backgrounds really good, and we did a lot of brainstorming to make our prototype and make it good.
About our prototype is that we have a 9-volt battery as a motor, and there is wiring mesh to collect the microplastics. It goes through the water to collect them bit by bit through here, and sometimes they get stuck on the edge.
So basically what he said is why we named him Hedgehog.
The hot potato. Ms. Lindsay, perhaps one of the students can tell us why they would want a device that filters out microplastics on our Earth.
Excellent. So did you hear, the question was, why would we want a device that's going to filter out microplastics?
We would want a device to filter out microplastics because microplastics are getting into everything, including salt, food, fish, water. and then all of that, you're going to eat it, and then it's going to go through you, and that could cause major problems.
Excellent.
So how the design works is so there's a flotation device on the top, and there's a battery pack in here that powers the motor, and then there's a filtration device that includes cheesecloth, and like just a bunch of stuff to filter out the water as it moves through the water.
Our first trial didn't work that well because it immediately sank into the water filled with microplastics, but as soon as we added the flotation device, it started to float through the water and it was collecting a lot of microplastics.
Wonderful. Can anybody, for feedback, the judges and the feedback that they gave you, does anyone remember any of the comments that they gave you or something that you thought helped?
Something that they told us about my prototype is that what would we do if we had more time and no budget? And for us, we said that we would make a device that we would be able to track as it would be going into a real life scenario and like oceans. So we would put like a device that we could check where it would be going and like a camera to tell like what would be around it so nothing would come up and eat it, and to also check around its surroundings so it was in like the right place at the right time.
Fantastic.
Great job.
So, Ms. Lindsay, we have a resolution of recognition for your team and for you. I would like to read the resolution of recognition on behalf of the school committee. Whereas the Ryan School iSTEM instructors, Kimberly Hilson and Eileen Lindsay, their Mass STEM Challenge Showcase entrants, Haley Shanahan, Sophie Brewster, Cam Grudner, Hunter Holloway, Ian Todd, Joanna Green, Mara Kruger, Callie Mangan, Janina Long, Sam Berry, Peyton Holmes, and in third place for showcase winners, Wyatt Holmes, Alyssa Flahive, Andrew Vines, Nathan Betancourt, and Jake Kuna are innovative minds at the John F. Elementary School who represent the 5th and 6th grade in the town of Tewksbury. Whereas the Mass STEM Challenge participants were challenged by their teachers to develop a new way to remove microplastics from water in the oceans as a part of their iSTEM curriculum with the focus on 21st century skills of communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Whereas the Mass STEM Challenge participants and their instructors exemplify the qualities inherent of inclusivity, perseverance, and growth mindset. And whereas the Mass STEM Challenge participants and their instructors have brought great pride, recognition, and honor to the John F. Ryan Elementary School and to the town of Tewksbury, now therefore it be resolved that the Tewksbury School Committee applauds, honors, and recognizes these many efforts of the Ryan School iSTEM instructors Kimberly Hilson and Eileen Lindsay, their Mass STEM Challenge Showcase entrants, and third in place for the Showcase winners. So congratulations to you all.
Good job, young man.
Congratulations, great work. You did a nice job speaking about it. Congratulations. Great job. Future scientists and engineers right here. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations to you.
Thanks. Good job, guys.
It's pretty consequential.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Just a comment, Mr. Malone, always nice to see our young students in here getting recognized, and I hope our old colleague, Mrs. Bennett, is watching at home, so. Okay, moving on, I'd like to call Mr. Jack Stadman for his student representative report, please.
Thank you. We've just got a few but important updates from the Team HS. The Tewksbury Redmen football team is currently on a winning streak against Lynn English, beating them 31-28, and Concord Carlisle, beating them 27-26. The TMHS marching band came in second in their annual competition against other nearby schools. The price for the yearbook has now increased to $70. The Science Club is always looking for new members to jumpstart their club for this year. Next week, DECA will be hosting their annual Megan McCarthy fashion show on Wednesday, November 20th. The Drama Club will be putting on their production of Alice in Wonderland this Thursday at 7 p.m., this Friday at 7 p.m., and Saturday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. They hope to see you all there. There will be a winter sports sign-up meeting on the 10th. If you're interested in joining a winter sport, make sure you attend that meeting. And the Morning Update crew urges all teachers and students to tune in to their show every morning for daily updates. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Stadman. I'd like to move it along to Mr. Malone for our presentations this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This evening, we have the Tewksbury Special Education Parent Advisory Council. The co-chairs are Ms. Dina Mancini, Ms. Ann Sector, and I don't know if they want to come up and maybe introduce the other members of the board or the team that's going to present.
Hi, I'm Ann Seichter. I am one of the co-chairs of the Tewksbury Special Education Parent Advisory Council.
I'm Dina Mancini. I'm the other co-chair of the CPAC.
Have you part of the publicity secretary? Maureen Castiglione, recording secretary.
And we also have Michelle Haley. She's one of our parents at large. Michelle, you want to wave to?
She's welcome to come up and join you as well if you'd like, Dina.
We tried. Okay. Do we need the mic, or are we good?
Brian, would you like, yes, please use the mic.
Please, to pick you up on TV.
Is this it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So the first thing I wanted to start with is to say Happy CPAC Awareness Month. So November has been declared CPAC Awareness Month by Governor Baker. This is a new thing in Massachusetts, and it is thanks to hardworking special ed parents. Representative Dave Arciero, who represents Chelmsford, Westford, and Littleton, he presented a proclamation that Charlie Baker signed. And it is basically to bring awareness to CPACs, because a lot of parents, a lot of towns don't have active CPACs, and they wanted to honor the commitment that special ed parents do for their communities. So I just want to read a couple lines of it. It's a very long and fancy proclamation, but we thought a couple lines were really important. Whereas, it's a fancy proclamation when you use whereas lots of times. So whereas nearly 20% of the Massachusetts student population consists of individuals with special needs, and whereas CPACs are made up of parents and other volunteers who give of their already limited time and resources to advocate for their children and all children in the community, and whereas the Coalition for CPAC Awareness, Massachusetts chapter, is calling for parents and interested parties throughout the Commonwealth to commit to fostering a collaborative relationship between the CPAC and the district by supporting community engagement. Therefore, I, Charlie Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim November 2019 to be CPAC Awareness Month. So we borrowed the proclamation for the evening. So we thought that the fact that we were doing our presentation tonight was very fortuitous. So who is the CPAC? We are parents, Tewksbury parents and guardians, and any interested parties of children who have IEPs or 504s. So our meetings are all open meetings, so anyone is welcome to attend. And it's for parents to support each other through the struggles of raising children with disabilities. So what we do, we try to give parents education on their children's rights and the lengthy process of qualifying for IEPs, and also to navigate through disabilities in school. and in the community. We also are political advocates for better laws and for more awareness for special education. We advocated for CPAC Awareness Month, and we've also been advocating for more funding for our school systems. And we also give support to families from other families who understand the struggles and the challenges, as well as the triumphs. So there is a law in Massachusetts that requires a CPAC in every town and city. And the law basically says that the CPAC has a participatory and advisory function. So we're an advisory committee of the school committee, and we are basically supposed to advise the school committee on matters that pertain to the education and safety of students with disabilities. We're supposed to meet regularly with school officials to participate in planning, development, and evaluation of school committee programs. So, and our board, she already said, we do have also 5 parent at large positions. Sarah Cohen is our parent at large at the high school and at the Wynn. Michelle Haley is at the Ryan School. Al Mancini is at the Dewing and North Street schools, and we do have 2 open positions. We had a full board at the beginning of the year, and we had 2 parents that moved out of district that could no longer be part of it.
Okay, so for what we've done in the past year, we had a CPAC Day on the Hill where we went to the State House and met with our elected officials to support political advocacy for our children. We had a basic rights workshop as well as an IEP for my child workshop that was put on by the Federation of Children for Special Needs. We had an ADHD Essentials workshop with Brendan Mahan. We participate, actually in the last couple of years, we've participated in the Tewksbury Public Library Festival of Trees. We also have summer playground socials, and we've had Blue Wave family engagement socials. And we like to kind of build connections with other districts, and so we've teamed up with Wilmington quite a few times to sponsor workshops. And we have participated in the Massachusetts Regional Special Education Parent Meetings. And we are also networking with New Hampshire special education parents to help advocate for special education laws.
So New Hampshire doesn't have the same laws as Massachusetts, and CPACs are not a requirement in New Hampshire, but they are trying to introduce a bill that's modeled on Massachusetts law. So we are assisting them with that as well.
Coming attractions. We are looking forward to actually next week, November 21st, we are having a fall family social at the Blue Wave Rec Center. We're going to participate again in the Festival of Trees, the Tewksbury Public Library. Social skills workshop is in the plan, and also a winter event at the Apple Store is also in the plans for winter of 2020. And how can you get involved, or if you have any questions, you can join our mailing list by emailing tewksburycpac@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook, Friends of CPAC, and you can attend our meetings and socials. Typically, they're every 3rd Thursday, monthly. Sometimes it's a little different, so it's good to just join our mailing list to get our news. And we end with a quote by Magic Johnson. All kids need is a little help, a little hope, and someone who believes in them. Thank you.
I'd like to, Dina, would you like to hang on? I'd like to open it up to my colleagues if anyone has any questions or comments or concerns or. Anyone? All right.
It was very well done. Thank you for taking the time and coming in. It was nice to see you this evening.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
John? Just before we move forward, ladies, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were leaving the podium. No, it doesn't matter. I just didn't want to talk with your back turned to me, that's all. I just wanted to thank you for the work. I know for a while here in the district, there was no CPAC. I know when I started on the board, there was no one. I certainly appreciate all your efforts, as I know my colleagues do. I know it's often difficult work. It's, you know, we truly believe, I do, and I know Mr. Malone does, and my colleagues, that all means all here in this district. We acknowledge that, you know, we can always do better. And to be honest with you, I've learned a tremendous amount personally. I continue to learn. I love the stuff that you're doing. I like, learning stuff at basic workshops. I've learned a tremendous amount, SEL, stuff like that, at the convention. So I can't thank you guys enough. Obviously, our most vulnerable learners are exactly that. And, I think we're really blessed in Tewksbury that we have quality people like yourself that can come out and try to help us all make the school district better. So for that, I thank you, and you have my sincere gratitude. Sorry. Thank you. All right. On the Citizens Forum, is there anyone here this evening that wishes to speak about anything on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, I'd like to ask Mrs. Demos to present the minutes, please.
I move to approve the minutes of October 16th, 2019.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the October 16th meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. That's a unanimous vote. I go to Mrs. Demos for the submission of bills and payments.
I move the school department payroll for the period ending October 17th, 2019, to be approved and certified in the amounts and categories as shown for the total amount of $1,363,706.97.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, I'd like to take a vote to approve the payroll ending October 17, 2019. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye as well. Unanimous vote.
Mr. Chairman, I move the school department payroll for the period ending October 31st, 2019, to be approved and certified in the amounts and categories as shown in the total amount of $1,357,879.23.
Second.
Having a motion and a second to approve the payroll period ending on Halloween. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye as well. That's a unanimous report. I'd like to turn to Mr. Malone for the superintendent and staff reports, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
I'd like to start off with a quick congratulations to the Tewksbury Memorial High School Students Against Destructive Decisions. That group was engaged in a civic mission that resulted in SAD students worked diligently with the Tewksbury Police Department and the Substance Abuse Prevention Collaborative to lead a town hall-style meeting on October 29th to address their concerns with town officials, school administration, and local state representatives, as well as Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan. Great civics-oriented project for our students, and they were able to voice some of their concerns and ideas to local officials, so great opportunity. Just a quick update on some of our school security upgrades. We've talked a great deal in the past few months about some planning stage, some money allocations, both through the committee, through its budgetary process, both through the town manager and some of the capital investments, also through town warrants that were voted on, and specifically a huge thank you to Mr. Jason Stamp for writing some grants that brought in some additional funding. So some of those pieces are specific to the Heathbrook School, the Dewey School, the Ryan School, and the Wynn Middle School. In all of those schools, we have upgraded the security software to improve feature set and usability, and installed a security workstation in the main office to monitor cameras in those 4 schools. In addition, at the Heathbrook School, we've added 15 new cameras and 1 key card reader. At the Dewey School, 20 new cameras and 3 new key card readers. At the Ryan School, 43 new cameras and 9 new card readers. And at the middle school, 89 new cameras and 5 new card readers. This is a significant investment in the security and safety of our students, and certainly we see it as an upgrade to ensure security and safety for our students. And certainly thank you to the school committee, the town, Mr. Stamp, for all their support in their budget support is making sure that happens. A big thank you to Dr. Besteri and a few of her staff who represented Tewksbury Public Schools in the Welcome to Tewksbury reception for new residents, which was held on Monday, October 28th at the Tewksbury Public Library. It's a great event hosted by the town, which brings in new residents to the town to get them used to some of the town services. It's a great opportunity for us to make sure our newest residents are well informed about Tewksbury Public Schools and Community Services preschool program. Like to echo Mr. Jack Stadman's recognition of the upcoming Alice in Wonderland play that will be happening this weekend. It's going to be a fantastic event, and I strongly encourage everyone to turn out. In addition to that, also the DECA Fashion Show, which will take place on November 20th at 7 p.m. here at Tewksbury Memorial High School. These are two great events. And just a recognition as far as the Ryan School community. The Ryan School will have its parent conferences on November 19th at 6 p.m. on that evening. Prior to parent conferences, we've invited the Ryan School parents to hear a quick presentation by the district's operations manager, architect, and construction chief in regards to the new school construction phase that will take place on the lot of land adjacent to the Ryan School. We want to make sure we have the Ryan School families very aware of what that project is going to look like in the construction phase, meet some faces, see what kind of sequence that project is going to take place in, but primarily understand what safety and security measures are going to be taken to make sure Ryan School students are going to school uninterrupted and have a safe barrier between construction work that's going on in the adjacent area while they continue to go to school. So again, that is for Ryan School parents. It's some of the pieces that we continue to hopefully keep parents in the community updated as far as what's going on with that building project. But again, this is targeting specific Ryan School parents to make sure they're informed, and if they have any questions or concerns, they have an opportunity to ask them at that time. With that, I'll hand it over to Ms. Regan.
Thank you, Mr. Malone. I'd like to talk with you a minute about another STEM opportunity that we were able to participate in. This opportunity actually came upon us the first week of November, so with very little fair warning, we reached out to our STEM teachers and organized a team to participate in the Engineering is Elementary STEM grant through the Museum of Science. The Engineering is Elementary, or otherwise known as the IE, program is a standards-based, aligned, teacher-tested curriculum that forms a foundation for all STEM learning. Each of the 20 units connect to a life, physical, or earth science topic that is commonly taught at the elementary level and features a field of engineering. This is training our elementary teachers really need. And the EIE, Dynamic Hands-on Engineering Activities, deepens students' understanding of science and math. I gave you just a little About Us page where you can go on to the link at the Museum of Science, or anybody watching at www.eie.org, and learn more about Engineering is Elementary. Our teachers began the participation in this grant program yesterday with their first round of PD. The program allows for several days of PD for these teachers, as well as free curriculum resources for engineering in our elementary grade levels. So we're very happy that these teachers have bought into this, and as you would expect, our elementary STEM teachers are very excited to have resources readily available to them to help teach these new standards to our students. Next is another training that will be happening soon in the district. It's Social Emotional Learning in the Classroom through Rebus Associates. It's a wonderful book. We've been using it. We had our administrative team trained last school year, and they've been sharing some of these strategies with our gen ed teachers, our general ed teachers. In the upcoming months, we have partnered with North Reading and North Middlesex to train our school guidance counselors, our social workers, and our school adjustment counselor at the Doing, together with our Director of Student and Family Support and her guidance counselor intern. They will participate in a joint training, a Train the Trainer program on social emotional learning in the classroom. And I wanted you to see the cover of this book because we hear a lot, SEL, social emotional learning. What does it really mean? To be successful in life, students and adults need core competencies. There's 5 core competencies that are outlined in SEL, and you can see the color coding there. You know, there's self competencies, self-awareness, self-management. And then there's relationship skills, social awareness, and relationship skill building. And then, of course, responsible decision-making. Those are the 5 core competencies all students, all adults, all people need to be successful in life, not only in the classroom, but obviously in the school setting, outside of the school setting, home, school, family and community. So we're really pleased that we're able to partner with these 2 other districts through our regional partnership so that all of our counselors can then model and work with classroom teachers to bring these strategies to life in all classrooms. You may have noticed in your consent agenda a generous donation from Eastern Savings Bank. I just want you to note on behalf of Eastern Savings Bank and Mr. Arthur Coster, the AVP branch manager, we are hoping you will accept their very gracious donation. Arthur Coster is a Tewksbury resident as well as a longtime Rotarian and partner with Tewksbury Public Schools. As you know, they run several programs that recognize our students through the scholarly luncheons as well as the Interact Club here at the high school. Arthur, the Eastern Savings Bank Tewksbury branch is closing its doors. Actually, it has closed its doors. And Arthur would like to donate all of the desks and cubicles and that furnishings to the center school so that we can outfit the Director of Student Family Support and the whole Community Service Office to now house our new members to the center school. So I hope you accept. This is my recommendation to you to accept the donation on behalf of Tewksbury Public Schools.
Nice. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then next week is National Education Week. So hold on to your hats because I'm about to read you all of the many activities going on in our schools next week. At the high school, we've tried many things for National Education Week, and I'm going to be honest with you, we do not get parents to come into the building. So the high school will be sharing classroom news and other great things going on at the high school through a virtual National Education Week s'more. It's their newsletter. The WIN will be providing parents with student council-led tours within their own students' team at the WIN, and that's on November 18th. The Ryan will host lunch with students. It's a parent dine-in day where parents will schedule dine-in days with their own student based on the team's schedule. There'll be morning announcements, which are student top essays, which have been chosen as top essays, which highlight why students love the Ryan School. They're identifying this also as a hug around the building. There'll be several messages about what students love about the Ryan School. They're inviting media to see all of those many messages, and then videos from teachers. Our teachers have been utilizing the green screen video technology and sending out messages why our teachers love what they love about the Ryan School. So those happenings will be happening all throughout the week at the Ryan. At the Trahan and at the North Street School, Representative Trom Nguyen will be reading Grace Goes to Washington and talking to our 4th graders about civic engagement. The Trahan and the North Street will also host parent sessions where they can come in, see open classrooms on November 19th. At the Heathbrook, on November 21st, they'll also be hosting parents to come in and view open classrooms during that day. And at the Dewing on November 19th, they're having an evening social for parents with the Dewing and North Street packed together. On the 20th, the Dewing will host a Parents Thankful event. And then on the 24th, the Dewing will host a full school assembly where they celebrate not only patriotism, but being part of a town and school community and as part of their civic engagement practice with students. So all of these dates and activities are going home individually at the different schools, and we hope parents enjoy National Education Week at our schools. And that concludes my update.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Reagan.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I just have a quick update to let the committee know that we had a meeting last week on Professional Development Day at the Heathbrook and the Dewing schools with representatives from DeGiorgio Architects. DeGiorgio was recently awarded a contract with the town as an on-call provider of engineering, architectural, and design services. So we engaged their assistance as part of the funding that was approved at the October town meeting for some work to be completed at those schools, design work and sort of just a go-forward plan for what we want to do at those buildings, to keep those buildings in good shape as we progress down our new building project as well. So DeGiorgio had a team of architects, structural and mechanical, and project management experienced folks there, and we looked at the doing in Heathbrook with our maintenance staff, building administration, and the superintendent. So the goal for us with them is to prioritize some short-term projects to improve facilities now, but we're keeping an eye on a longer-term capital plan for those facilities that will get us, keep those facilities in good shape as we progress down the new school building project, so that those facilities are providing students with a great educational space going forward. So it was great to have DeGiorgio there. They're looking at the schools for the first time. It's great to get a fresh set of eyes on our facilities. And they'll be providing us with some preliminary project ideas, cost estimates, and recommendations, which we'll then be using to formulate our go-forward plan on those facilities.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Libby.
Yep.
I'd like to move on to the consent agenda. Anyone have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda this evening? Mrs. Regan, do you need a roll call vote for that, or?
Please.
I would like to take the donation as a roll call vote outside of the consent agenda. And that is the to Tewksbury School Committee, the memorandum and the consent agenda from the Assistant Superintendent of Schools dated November 7, 2019, a donation of office furniture. On behalf of the Eastern Bank of Tewksbury, Mr. Arthur Costa, branch manager, is pleased to announce that the Eastern Bank will donate office furniture to the center school valued at approximately $7,500. The donation consists of the following items: 1 desk with chairs, 1 crescenda, and 2 round tables with chairs, 3 desks with chairs, including cubicles, 2 desks with chairs. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, I'd like to take a roll call vote. All those in favor, Mr. Stadman?
I'll say yes. Aye.
Mr. Cutlass?
Aye.
Mrs. Demos?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Mrs. Regan, and most importantly, thank you, Eastern Bank, for thinking of us. So, all right. I'd like to entertain a motion at this time to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I'll make
A motion.
Second?
Having a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye as well. Unanimous vote. I'd like to move on to tonight's committee reports. I'm going to start with Mr. Cutlass for the Elementary School Building Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Elementary School Building Committee meeting on a regular basis, going through the design phase. We're probably 50% done. Architects are working with administration, teachers, staff to design the building. It's going along pretty well so far. They're also meeting with the various boards in town. Conservation, I think Planning Board meeting is Monday night, where the site plan for the whole school is going to get presented and hopefully approved by the Planning Board. But so far, so good. Everything looks good, and we're on budget and we're on pace at this particular time.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Cutlass. Mrs. Demos for the Education Foundation.
We are still waiting to meet.
Okay. I would like to thank Dina, Ann, Peg, and Maureen for their very thorough Tewksbury CPAC update this evening during the presentations. I don't have anything to add. And over to Mr. Stadman for our Wellness Advisory Committee update.
We're having our next meeting on Monday. We're going to hit some of the heavy hitters like vaping, talk about how we can get the wellness name out there, And, yeah, those are, hopefully get some more information at our next meeting.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Stadman. Having no policy changes, proposals, or adoptions this evening, I assume Mrs. Regan has a MCAS parent support video for us?
I do, thank you. As promised, we have developed a video for parents on how to read their child's MCAS report. Ms. Johnson is going to bring up the district website so we can show parents tonight, who may be watching, how to access the video, and some links that we've added to the video so they can actually help their students or their children at school. So as you can see, hold on for a second, Ms. Johnson, she's going quite fast, she's quite adept at using our district website, but Brian, if you can focus on the screen, please. You can see that parents can simply go to the Tewksbury Public Schools website, and then in one of the top tabs, go to the tab called About Us, and then scroll over to the curriculum column, and go to the Next Generation MCAS. Go ahead, and there you go. Parent video, Understanding MCAS Scores, view here. If Ms. Johnson will please click on that. We'd like to play, what? Hold on, we played this today at the district.
Eileen.
Okay, well, let me just say this. The video is fantastic. Parents will be able to see it because it's viewable for everybody. The video link will be blasted out to all parents tomorrow, as well as some helpful links so parents can help their child at home. Most of all, let me just say this. I want to thank Michelle Dick, one of our math coaches, because when you get an opportunity to watch this video, you're going to see just how wonderfully it was done. And through the IT team, they really polished it up and made it viewing ready for all of our public, all of our parents. So, Ms. Johnson, I think just showing people how to get to it, people can watch it on their own, and I hope you do too. Members of the school committee, we're very proud of it. As long as this MCAS test does not change again, and for at least a little bit of a time, and as long as the report stays the same, this video is going to help our parents for many years to come.
Good.
Thank you, Gil. Okay, the next item in old business that I can update you on is on November 5th, professional development schedule. You can see that the days' worth of professional development, this is the last of our 4 full days, was in line with our district-wide goals around developing our district-wide vertically aligned curriculum maps for further and deeper understanding, as well as for inclusive practice. You can see all grade levels participated in that professional development. What you'll also see is that November 5th, or Election Day, always marks our regional professional development for the Northeast Professional Educators Network, otherwise known as NPEN. This is our 5th annual NPEN Day. What you have in front of you is a commemorative wooden pen, because for our 5th anniversary, the gift is wood. So you can see all of the low incident roles that participate in NPEN, and once again, I can say it was a major success. These educators received content-related training and were able to network with other content-related people in their role throughout the Merrimack Valley. So it was always a great day. We had over, again, 2,000 attendees, over 200 sessions, and Tewksbury, once again this year, hosted the behavioral health and guidance portion of NPEN Day. So we hope you enjoy your pen. You're welcome.
All right, moving on to new business.
Thank you. Well, what you have in front of you is our annual Title I year-end report letter. This is informational only and does not require a vote of the committee. I think you remember at one of our last meetings, I divulged some really great news, and that is our Title I funding went back up to levels that we were used to. We can see that Title I, and the letter explains all of it, I'm not going to read all of it, but Title I funding, the federal entitlement grants, are really based on income, the economic needs of our families in Tewksbury, and in particular, geographically based at our schools. Also, there's Title III funding, which we do not qualify for, and that is contingent on ESL numbers in our district. But let me just highlight some things in the letter, and that is, during the fiscal year 2019, you can see that we received $140,522 in Title I grant funds and $73,806 in Title IIA funds. And in that school year, last school year, it was the Heathbrook, North Street, and Luella F. Dewing that qualified for these entitlement grants. In the fiscal year 2020, we saw a significant increase in our grants. Why? Because we inched just over that threshold of more economically disadvantaged families in Tewksbury. And you'll also see that it was all 4 elementary schools that qualified for Title I funding. We had an increase of Title I funding with a total of $340,983 in Title I funds and $77,370 in Title IIA funds. As I said, this is a level of Title I funding we were used to in the past that was severely cut in the last 2 to 3 years. So what does Title I fund do for the district? Well, it provides additional after-school and summer remediation programs. You can see some of the programs highlighted throughout the letter: MCAS prep, math clubs, individual group tutoring. We also have now, in the last couple of years, funded our Jumpstart to First Grade, a 2-week summer program providing opportunities for kindergarten students at our both Heathbrook and Dewing schools to get remedial reading before they've even hit first grade, and we were able to invite many more students as a result of the increased funds. We were also able to support our ESL learners who also are in that economically disadvantaged group, so it was wonderful that we were able to start a summer school for them coming into the school year. And now, with the increased funds, we're able to purchase some early education phonics supplements. I think it's important to note that Title I and Title IIA funding cannot replace our current program, but can supplement and give additional remediation for these students that need it. So really, in closing, I just want to say, while we're not thrilled that all 4 elementary schools inched over that economically disadvantaged threshold, we are certainly thrilled to have the additional funding to support our students that need it.
So Brenda, can I just ask a question,
Sure.
Keith?
Yeah, absolutely.
The math clubs and MCAS prep
Yes.
and things that we're utilizing the funds for, are they driven per school, or are we doing this as a whole group of, everyone meet at the Ryan and you're pulling kids from each one of the buildings?
It's both. You can use the supplemental funds for every student as long as it includes these students that fall into that.
I'm just wondering how we're actually executing,
Well, I am, and I will report this next year.
Okay.
In this year's funding, we have less opportunity to use those, what was called reservation funds. So every school, even though as a Title I district, there's funds that go to the Title I schools, but there was a very small portion you could use at different grade levels.
Right.
Of schools that didn't fall under Title I funding, that was called the reservation funds. We're no longer able to use them in other schools.
Okay.
So we do have to support those 4 schools, and then after-school and supplemental programs to meet the needs of, it could be all the learners, but
Yeah.
it has to be
But
directed to
those 4
those
elementary is
schools.
what I was
Yes.
referring to. Yeah, I didn't know if you were, trying to just, I used the Ryan, but I shouldn't have. At
No,
K-4 building.
it's okay, because now we did get the ASOS grant again. That's the after-school additional funding that we can use to continue that MCAS support program for upper grade
Grades.
levels.
And is George going to continue with our Title I?
He is. In fact, we've also are utilizing the talents of Chloe Callahan to help, because she actually.
Doing the summer and things still?
Exactly, with many of our younger readers.
Yeah,
She
that's an
she
awesome
helps
program. I'm
implement
glad
all
to
of
hear
it.
it's still going.
I know
just
you
wanted
used to
make
be
sure.
part of it too. Thank you, Ms. Demo.
I just want to make sure we're, keeping what we had and building on it.
And all of our reading teachers, as well as our academic support aides, are very invested in this type of work with these students, because, the goal is that they all are at grade level or above in reading, and we need to make sure we give them that opportunity.
Right, and we'll take the extra funding.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, thank you.
You're welcome. So it's wonderful to end on some great news. You can see the press release in front of you from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and this is a press release on the Massachusetts NAPE results. The NAPE test is commonly referred to as the nation's report card. It's administered every 2 years to a sample of fourth grade students and 8th grade students. Once again, Massachusetts is leading the nation. You can see from the results that in fourth grade reading, Massachusetts was the state with the top scale score. Massachusetts students had the top scale score also in eighth grade math, partnered together or tying with New Jersey, who scored statistically the same. In fourth grade math, Massachusetts was also statistically at the top of the charts, statistically scoring the same as Florida, Indiana, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Virginia, and Wyoming. And then again, in eighth grade reading, Massachusetts students had the top scale scores along with New Jersey and Connecticut. TPS, or Tewksbury Public Schools, often has groups of students that participate in the NAPE, fourth or eighth grade students. The last NAPE assessment administration included approximately 60 of our WIN eighth graders. So it's awesome to see Massachusetts still leading the nation and knowing that we do so well in these types of standardized assessments, especially when we often focus on the MCAS and we focus on what can we improve on. Well, we're doing very well when compared with the rest of the United States, and I'm just so happy to say our eighth grade students contributed to that success.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Regan. Any questions? All right, moving on to school committee matters of interest. I'm going to start with you tonight, Mrs. Demos.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since our last meeting, I had the privilege of attending the Massachusetts School Committee and Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Joint Conference this past weekend down in Hyannis. I got to attend several panel sessions that were very informative. They ranged everywhere from, school law and collective bargaining to Google data collection to mass building associates. I was actually very honored to be part of the delegate session and representative for our district. It was great to be involved. It was a learning experience for me and some professional development. I look forward to, sharing information that I attained there, and I met some constituents from our surrounding districts, which is always good to kind of network and get ideas of, other surrounding communities and things. It's good to build those relationships. And I look forward to going to it again next year. I think it's a good, nice event, and I was privileged to go.
Great.
I also wanted to say that I was at Fall Fest recently, and that was a great success for the high school up here. It's always good to see the community coming together and the local vendors and everyone coming out to support the students and the local businesses. Fall sports season's wrapping up. I've been to many a football game and a volleyball game lately, and glad to see that they're all doing so well. And soccer and all of the students did so well. I just wanted to kind of take a minute to thank those coaches out there that really are working hard and are great role models for our children. It speaks volumes, the time and effort that they're actually putting into these teams and practices and, taking away from their family time and things. And I just think, it should be commended and acknowledged. I have to say, on a personal note, watching the girls' volleyball team, the varsity team, give Linfield their first 2 losses of the season, go Mrs. Taggart right there, was quite enjoyable to go into the season. They had no losses for even a set, and our girls worked really hard and gave them their 2 first losses of the season. It may have been a loss on the scoreboard, but it was a win for us, right? And I look forward to going to the fashion show, the Megan McCarthy fashion show, and Alice in Wonderland, and continuing to support the community.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Demos, and also thank you very much for representing us down there at the conference. I've been there a few times. It is a great learning experience, and we're appreciative that you went down and represented Tewksbury and our school committee. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Mr. Cutlass?
I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
Right. Mr. Stadman?
Mr. Malone and Ms. Demos just took the wind out of my sails, but, come out and support Alice in Wonderland coming up this weekend, and definitely the DECA show, fashion show. It's always a good time to see the kids and supporting a great cause. Beyond that, that's all I have.
All right, I have one thing. Please come out on December 14th and watch our current state champion Red Rangers hockey team They'll be playing over at Central Catholic in a girls' ice hockey game in honor and memory of Tewksbury resident Ryan Driscoll. So, all the proceeds are going to a memorial scholarship fund, so if you can attend that, that'd be great. It's going to be a great evening. It's a sad thing what happened to Ryan, and be a nice way to honor and remember him. So that's December 14th. It's at Salem, at the Salem, New Hampshire Ice Rink, and we're playing Central Catholic. So thank you for them for putting that together. That's all I have. For future school committee and subcommittee meetings, the school committee will be meeting on December 4th, 2019, and we're also meeting on January 15th, 2020. Looks like that will be the start of our budget workshop, and our regularly scheduled meeting will be for 7 p.m. that evening. Does anyone have any future agenda items? As always, if you do have anything that you wish to be put on the agenda, you can contact myself or any one of my colleagues on the school committee or Superintendent Malone. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Having a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye as well. Thank you, good evening, and have a good night.